What's going on, guys? In this video we're getting into how you can become more disciplined, and by the end of this video you should have some implementable steps that can make sure that you become a more disciplined person. Now before we get into that, my name's Keefe. I made this channel to help men create their ideal lives through self-mastery. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell icon so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Let's get straight into it. So I think a critical thing to understand about discipline is the distinction between discipline and motivation, because a lot of people think that motivation leads to discipline, and that's not really true. They're actually kind of separate things. So to be motivated is to go to the gym as a New Year's resolution. To be disciplined is to go to the gym all year round and maintain a healthy body. And I can tell you personally, as somebody who does do that, who is disciplined in his fitness, it's not necessarily a motivation that gets me to act in a disciplined manner when it comes to my health as much as it is a just a self-identity, an identity that I have about myself that makes me believe that I need to go to the gym and I need to be disciplined in this area, and I don't really have to think about it. In fact, I've told people before, I might have even said it on the channel, at this point it's harder for me to not work out than it is for me to work out on any given day, and it's because it has become a habit for me to be disciplined in that area. So I think that's a really critical distinction. I understand that discipline is really just a habit, and it's a muscle you can train, and that's what we're really going to focus on today, is how can we train you to build the habit of discipline in any particular area of your life. It's also critical to understand that discipline is local to each specific area of your life. You might be very disciplined in business, but very undisciplined in your health. You might be vice versa, very disciplined health-wise, or not have much money at all, and you can't seem to get your crap together financially. And then there's just all these other little areas. Maybe you don't clean your room when you should, or whatever the case may be. Like, there's different areas of discipline. So we're going to focus on how can we discipline ourselves in each specific area at an identity level, because I do believe discipline is an identity and a habit. What I mean by this is that you're either going to see yourself as a disciplined person or you're not going to, and you're going to reaffirm to yourself that belief based on your actions that you continue to take. So I'll give myself again with the fitness example. So my self-image is that I'm disciplined with my health. I go to the gym. My self-image is that I'm in better shape than most people. My self-image is that I take care of my body, and my self-image is that I'm disciplined in doing it, and I take pride in being disciplined in that area of my life. So I, on autopilot, just reaffirm that to myself. I'll go through the motions on a workout, even like if I need to. Like I don't have to really use much of any effort at all to get myself to go do a workout, because that's my image. Whereas other people, it's the complete opposite. They have to literally force themselves to do something like go to the gym, and they just can't. Like, your body just seems like it resists them constantly, and this is an image thing. I had to discipline myself as well when it came to putting out these daily videos, because it was a little bit unnatural to me at first, and I always wanted to do this, so it wasn't hard for me to be motivated to do it. But once that premature motivation at the very beginning with making a first few videos for our first couple weeks went away, it was like I had to really grind to get myself to do it, and at this point it has become an identity for me. It's a self-image. I don't think about it. I just recognize that this is part of who I am. I make videos out here, and this is something I do, so it has become a discipline for me. So again, it's about changing the identity, and there are two main ways we can do this. So the two main ways you can do this are, one, consciously shifting your identity, which would mean to focus on, rather than telling yourself a story about not being disciplined, on telling yourself a story that you are disciplined. I've literally heard people tell me, oh, I'm not disciplined, and they'll say it's because my family wasn't disciplined, or whatever the case may be. But that really doesn't matter. That's just a story you're telling yourself, and you can change the story. The other way is through repetition and building the habit of being disciplined in a specific area, and I recommend you do both of these things. I'll use the example of, let's say, getting out of bed. This is a great place to really establish yourself as a disciplined person. The alarm wakes you up in the morning, and the first thing you do is think about hitting the snooze button or laying there for a little while and not getting out of bed. But what you do is you reaffirm to yourself, I'm a disciplined person, so that's why I get out of bed to my alarm. So then you get out of bed to your alarm, you go turn the alarm up, you're up, and now you take action on the day, and you reaffirm to yourself that you've done this. And what you do over time by doing this and continuing to do things because you're a disciplined person. So you wake up because you're a disciplined person, you get done what you say you're going to do because you're a disciplined person, and you literally reaffirm to yourself, I'm doing this because I'm a disciplined person. you will begin to train yourself to see yourself as a disciplined person. Another aspect of discipline when it comes to like a daily activity that you're doing, like for example, we'll use fitness again as an example. If you're somebody who perhaps struggles when it comes to your health, being disciplined on your health, again, it comes down to shifting your identity, seeing yourself as someone who is disciplined with your health. So what you do is you literally just continue to practice. You got to push through the like resistance you're going to get as you build this new habit, which might be exercise or perhaps it's eating properly. And after you've done this, it just becomes natural to you. What happened to me actually in this example is, first of all, I was very like disciplined when it came to going to the gym ever since I started working out, but I wasn't disciplined with my diet for several years, and as a result my results were pretty mediocre. But once I got my diet locked in, at first it was kind of weird. I had to learn to do this intermittent fasting thing, which is where you eat in a specific window of time. I had to learn what to eat, what not to eat, and I had to consciously focus on this and make sure I was eating the right things. But what happened was, over time it just became a habit to the point where I don't think about it, I don't notice it. It's just part of who I am. Being disciplined with my diet, being disciplined with my training is just part of who I am. But you've got to reaffirm to yourself this image. So you got to notice to yourself where perhaps you're not telling yourself the correct story. So if you're not telling yourself a story, perhaps you didn't grow up in a health-oriented family, which is irrelevant. You can still become a health-oriented person, but you got to make the choice for yourself. Perhaps that's the story you've been telling yourself, and perhaps your identity is that you aren't a health-oriented person. Your identity is that you're out of shape. The identity is that you can't get out of bed and go to the gym because you just are constantly fighting yourself the whole time. Well, you have to consciously change the program. So again, we go back to what I talked about with going to bed, with waking up in the morning to the alarm. Let's say it's time to go work out and your body's saying no. What you would do is say, no, I'm the kind of guy who's disciplined and goes and gets his workout in. That's what I do. That's who I am. Then you get up, you go do the workout, and then you reaffirm yourself after the workout. Yeah, I'm a disciplined guy. I just did what I said I was going to do. And I promise you, this will literally take 2-3 weeks max of just doing this, and it will become a program for you naturally to do, and you'll see it as something that you do, and it honestly becomes very easy. If you think about the amount of things that you probably do on autopilot, you'll be shocked, and like you're actually in a way disciplined about them. Like you're probably pretty disciplined about wasting time, as a matter of fact. I noticed this about me. Like it's very easy and natural for me to want to pick up my phone and waste a bunch of time, and there's no inherent reason why sitting on your phone scrolling on social media or wasting time, whatever it is, would be any more easy than just going and getting your workout in, for example. It's just simply that you have programmed yourself in the habit of doing the one action, whereas in the other one, you still need to program yourself in the habit of doing it. Like I said, discipline is really about habits. If a rich person went broke, they would just be, based on their self-image and based on that discipline, would become wealthy again. This is just, it's a mindset, self-image, and discipline comes from the self-image. There are people I'm sure you know who are very disciplined in one area of their life, but they're not disciplined in other areas of their life. And this is just, it's completely a self-image. If people see themselves as clean people, then they'll keep their house clean, and it's a discipline, and it becomes very natural. I really don't think people have this unlimited supply of willpower. So if you find yourself really struggling to be disciplined in an area, it's probably because you're trying to use willpower to be disciplined, whereas discipline can flow naturally from who you are in a certain area. And I think this is the key to lifelong discipline, because if you're constantly going up against yourself in a certain area and having to use willpower to get it done, then you're going to break eventually. And once you do break, you're probably going to start breaking more and more often. I know this happens. I think this happens to a lot of guys when we talk about NoFap, stuff like that. They'll maybe get on like a streak that's a decent amount of length because they're really disciplined, they're using their willpower, but once they break, they just start breaking more and more and more, and they kind of like get off the bandwagon of it. It's the same thing. They didn't build the habit of identifying with being disciplined in this area. They were using straight willpower to try and get it done. So again, the key is to build the mindset and the self-image of being disciplined in that area rather than constantly using willpower to be disciplined. But guys, that's all I got for this video. If you got something out of it, be sure to give me a like so I can reach more guys with my message. Also, be sure again to hit the subscribe button and bell icon so you don't miss tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later.